What's your favorite wine? Now, I'm more of a dry red wine kind of guy, and I have had a bout or two with some pretty decent box wine, but regardless if you're like me and are willing to try whatever's uncorked, or if you're a sommelier with a well-refined palate, that unless you're, enjoying some cheese with that and you want to use a spittoon to get the flavor and spit it out and then try some cheese. Either way, refined or not, if you're drinking wine, you're likely paying taxes. Now, how much? Well, it ranges from as high as $3.82 per gallon, or as low as 20 cents a gallon. And the lowest tax state might actually surprise you. All right, welcome back to the states. I'm Greg Bishop, and the Tax Foundation looking at all the states and the different types of taxes that there are on those spirits. They find that the tax on wine is at a higher rate than beer, but it's lower than liquor because wine's alcohol content is usually between those two different types of beverages. Now, according to the Tax Foundation, after adjusting for alcohol content, they say that states still levy higher taxes on wine, though some favor wine and tax beer at more than double the rate. Now, the highest tax burden on wine is levied in Kentucky, followed by Alaska, Florida, and Iowa. As you'll see there, Kentucky charges $3.82 per gallon of wine. That seems like a lot. You can see how that can add up quick. Alaska at $2.50, Florida at $2.25, Iowa at $1.75, and New Mexico at $1.70 per gallon. Now, let's take a look at some of the lowest wine taxes per state by gallon. Kansas is at 30 cents a gallon. New York as well. Wisconsin, 25 cents a gallon. Texas, 20 cents a gallon. And California, 20 cents a gallon for wine. That's vastly different than the state having the highest gas taxes, but interesting to see that California, with its rich history and industry of valleys for wine vintners, it's clearly that they are having a lower tax on their product in that state than some of the other tax rates on other products. Now, there could be other things included in the overall price of wine where you live. It totally depends. Could it be a fee on cases of wine if you go out and buy a lot of cases of wine? Or is there a bottle fee, which might be based on the size of the container? What about sales taxes specific to alcohol beverages? This also can change from state to state and even jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Now, some of these prices also includes the wholesale tax rate of 10%, and that is converted into gallonage excise tax rates. The Tax Foundation said while some wine's overall market share among alcoholic beverages has been relatively steady, policymakers should remain mindful that excise taxes are ill-suited to raise general revenues. The Tax Foundation says policymakers should modernize this arcane category system by taxing directly according to alcohol content, making the system simpler and more neutral. Because you could start talking about, well, are wine coolers taxed at the same rate as wine, or should they be taxed like beer? You can see where things start to get a little muddy. By the way, if you're thinking about getting some wine this weekend, you want to do a little bit more of a sommelier, well, do this the next time you sip some wine with friends. Take a sip, coat your tongue and palate to assess the wine's flavors, the tannins, the acidity. Form an O, gather the wine in the front of your mouth and purse your lips, and then breathe in to get that flavor. Set the spittoon ready, and then you project a narrow, fast stream into the bucket. But be sure not to splash it on your neighbors, all right? We'll be right back with more from the States.